What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? How y'all doing? Hope you're well. If you'll notice, I'm in the same clothes as I was in the last video because I'm making this video the same day. But we're doing King Ranch seats in a first gen. It's a pretty common swap. A lot of people do seat swaps because, let's face it, these, like me for example, my factory seats are 30 years old. Yeah, 30 years old, and as they are comfortable, they're not, just super great. So I picked up these King Ranch seats for, I think I spent $250, which, if you know anything about these seats, it's a hell of a deal. These seats normally run front and rear. I got them out of a extended cab truck. That's generally a $1,400 to $1,600 set of seats. And again, I picked these up for $250. While I was picking those up, I also found another set of rear seats that he let me get for, I'm not going to say how much, but I ended up selling for $400. And then the back seats to these, I've also sold by now. I forgot what I sold them for, but we spent that money on vacation. But anyways, I've not found a video on YouTube of people doing it with the front seats, the heated and electric seats. So, because a lot of people use the rear seats, the rear bucket seats out of an Explorer or Expedition or whatever, and they'll use the factory sliders and stuff like that, except for the passenger side because it doesn't have a slider. The only thing adjustable on the passenger side factory is the seat back. So I didn't want to do that. Since I had the front seats and they're heated and power, the driver's side's full power on the bottom, I wanted to use those. And I couldn't find a video nowhere. It's difficult, but I've made it work. And a lot of y'all might criticize me for the way I'm doing this, but it is safe. I've done it like this for years. Same metal. Just trust me. I've got some tweaking to do. As you can tell, I've got the passenger seat done. It's in. And like I said, these seats are not in the greatest of shape. This one's got a pretty good tear right here in the leather. And then the driver's seat, it's rough. But I will have King Ranch seats in. They sell the recovers, so I'm not worried about it. Eventually, one of these years, I'll do that. But for now, as long as I get the seats in, I'm okay. So, on the passenger side, all you got on the factory seat, I don't know where I put the brackets and all that. It's all put up. But you have a piece that lays across through here. And the seat actually has a hinge that folds up, and those two small bolts, along with, you can't see it, but there's a latch back here that holds it down. That's all that holds the passenger seat in. So already this is safer, and all I done was cut the bracket here. This is the factory Ford bracket. I cut the piece. This used to come down here and do all kind of stupid stuff I didn't like. Cut it off, clean it up real nice. I guess I need to paint it. 2 polyurethane bushings and a piece of square tubing, and then bolted all this to the square tube, and then the square tube to the floor, so that's secure. On this side, let me move some of this junk. I gotta, again, this is not completed. I've got to do some cleaning up and whatnot, but I've got a square tube here that's not sharp. I actually cleaned it all up. And then as this one was simple, bolted, I got a long bolt running through, all the way through the square tube to the floorboard, everything. And it is there on the rear back here. Get in there. I have to do it like this because I'm not crawling the back of the truck in. That side, I used a factory hole in the bracket, drilled straight to the floorboard. I made it work. And then this side's the problem child. I just put a stud to more or less support it, which I got to fix. Eventually I'll drill a hole right here too, and I'll have this side done. But for now, stand up. It's in here. It's not going nowhere. It, again, slides. Can't do it with one hand because you got to hold the back too, but slides, does all nice stuff. Lumbar support, real nice. That's the other side. Now that side is a pain. Now for the driver's side. The seat itself, this side actually slides and moves. The seat itself bolts to this thing here. When you take think these are 1/2 inch. You got one here, and 2 on the other side, same spot. Pick the seat off. Once you pick the seat off, you got 2 bolts you can reach in here. Take them off, then you got to go under the truck, and you got 2 on this side. Take the nuts off the bottom. You take this piece out, and all this comes out. Now, a lot of people use this. They'll take this piece, and they will actually bolt the new seat to that piece because it slides, and they just call it like that. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just extra. I didn't want to do that. I want to use the power sliders and the tilt to where you can raise the front up now, all that good stuff. And again, the heated seats would work regardless, but again, I just didn't want to do it like that. I wanted to have power seats in a first gen, and I'm determined to have powered seats in a first gen. We'll go in here, I'll show you what I've got done so far. Alright, so I'm hoping this will help y'all. I hope. I should add, these seats come out of a 2003, 2004 F-150 King Ranch. And this is the driver's seat. Like I said, it's a little rough. It's already been repaired here. It's got a tear there. You can order these for fairly cheap, the slider parts. So I'm not that worried about it. But what I've done here, this is the factory, all the Ford factory stuff. When I pulled these seats out, because I drove 3 hours south to pull these seats out. You'll have this set of wires, green and black. Green's power, black's ground. That controls your motors, your slide motors, your tilt motors, all that. And then you have this clip here and this clip here coming out of the seats, which clip to, I think they go right here, maybe, possibly, I don't know, I don't remember. They clip in somewhere. But either way, you got these 3 wires. Now, I've not figured out where these go yet. I will make a video on that later, because I'm not doing that right now. But this is all for the heated seats. The only thing I know for sure is you have to have this module box thing. Heated seat module out of the truck. So, this was all laying in the truck. The only part that was not was where these wires go, and I think these go to the passenger seat. I'll let y'all know on that later. Again, I'm going to buy a manual and figure out how this goes. But these are the main 2 wires you need to have electric seats. So what I've done, I'm using this mount. This one will be fine. I had to cut the front off right here. This will be on the driver's side of the driver's seat. Had to cut the front of this mount off, clean it up. And then I took the same square tubing. Yes, it's slanted. I didn't cut it straight. Hate me if you want. But I took 2 pieces of it, bolted 1 piece to the seat, then bolted these 2 pieces together, like that. And then I drilled a hole there, a little dirty, fuzzy. Drilled a hole there, and I will drill this is where I'll mount this side of the seat, or to the floor pan thing. This side was simple. Piece of square tube. I drilled. I wish I would have drilled closer to the front so it wouldn't have been such a pain to get it in, but the little nut slid perfect right up in there. Bolted it all down. We're good to go there. Back here, we had this piece that had these little dudes, these little rivet things, bolted right there. I didn't want to use that. I can't use that because with this sitting up there, it's angled. You can tell it's angled downward. To match the Ford floor pans, I didn't like that. It won't work in the first gen. It won't set even with the floor. So I drilled out these 2 things, whatever you call those. I'm gonna call them rivets. I drilled those out, knocked the bracket off, bolted this square tube into this. Again, there's an easier way to do this stuff. If I had the right tools, I could have done this so much easier, a lot cleaner, a lot better. But I don't. All I got is a grinder and a sawzall and a drill. So I'm gonna take this off, paint it. Actually, I'm gonna drill a hole somewhere right here in the middle, and then I'm gonna take this off, paint it, and then I'm gonna set it back in the truck, and we'll go from there. All right. So like I was saying, this sits in the seat or in the floorboard like this. Your seat bolts to these holes here. and then you have 2 bolts there. And then on the bottom side, you got 2 nuts over here. And then this comes out and leaves you like this. So what I done, just to catch y'all up, because yeah, what I done was I set the seat in, and the way I've done these is I put me a level right here. I eyeball it straight like this way, eyeball it straight, and then I put me a level here, and I hold down on the lowest, which is that one. I hold down on both of them, and then this one comes up, and I adjusted by adding washers. Some say it's not safe. We're gonna rock with it, because I've been doing this like this for years in different vehicles. So now all I'm gonna do, I set the seat in there, I got it how I wanted it, and I put something that weighs, I added enough stuff that, you know, weighs enough to push it down like someone was sitting in it, namely that sub. And then I'll take a Sharpie, mark the front 2 holes there and there. Yes, I know this carpet's disgusting. I will get to that one day. But again, this is 30 years old. I'm going to vacuum it and everything before I get everything done. But I'll mount it in the front, see how it sits, see how I like it, and then move on to the back. So the problem we have is this big hump in the floorboard. But I think I'm working around that. I think, maybe, hopefully. So I'm going to drill these holes. I always drill them bigger than what I need. That way I have a little room to adjust and play. And then wash it up, bolt it down, and we'll go from there. Alright, this is the next day. But as you can see, it's in. Again, I know these ain't in the best of shape, but they're in. So, like I was saying, all I done was I washed it up here. And basically, all you had to do is, when you get it, I set a level across here, got it set in level, and just found out what it would take. That one was sitting right. This one I had to add a few washers right here. Get up our phone. Right there to space it out. But I got it set in level, and once the front's level, do the same thing in the back. This side, I gotta add some more right here because it's not, this side sits a little low. But it's in there, it's not going anywhere. It's there. So next to be hooking power up to it and figuring out how to get this heated seat to work. So that'll be a whole other video. The benefit from doing this was, you know, it has the front and rear tilt, lean, whatever, so you can always jack it up, lower it down. Of course, electric, heated. And doing it this way, I was able to also drop it, because factory seats, when you're as tall as me, which I think I'm 6'2", 6'3", factory seat sits up higher than I like, so I was able to drop the back, or drop the whole seat down about 4 or 5 inches to sit a little lower and be a little more comfortable. And that's just my personal preference. As you can tell, I like to lean back some. But either way, there she is. Alright, so when I was finishing up the edit, I realized I never actually closed this video out. But yeah, they're in there. Like I said, I got a little bit of tweaking to do, and you'll have some tweaking to do, but in all reality, your floorboard should be about the same as mine in a first gen, as long as it's a club cab. But as far as bolting the seats down, I forgot to mention, I am going back actually and taking, I've got a piece of 1 inch by I think 3 inch bar stock, I guess. It's like really heavy bar. I'm going to go underneath the truck, and I'm going to cut little sections and pretty well brace the floor pan, because I noticed while I'm bolting this thing down, it is bending the floor pan some. So I don't like that. I don't know if it's just weak metal or whatever, but I'm going to fix that by bracing it pretty much. So yeah, and like I said, this is, the passenger seat's safer than the factory seat was, the way I done it. So all this stuff is, it's good bolts, it's not cheap stuff. You know, this, you're talking potentially your life in your hands, so don't cheap out when you're buying the hardware for it. But Other than that, it's more or less just measure twice, drill holes once, and you're done. So good luck. Hope this helped. If you had any questions, if you have any more questions, let me know. Comment below. I will put power to them in the next video and see what I can do. So be safe, have fun. See y'all next time. Thanks for watching too, and subscribe down there.